That's why I always check if I'm muted. I don't know why I don't do it pre-show. I always check when I say my intro because I know I'm going to be muted one show. And it happened again. The red button means for a live, a casual take here, hosted by your boy Stephen Pepper, here to casually talk sports. I'm spoiling you guys with some content. A Wednesday, a casual take. I usually don't pop out with these, especially during football season. But I got to start doing these odd days because football season is going to wind down in about a little less than a month. So I got to start doing odd Wednesday shows. But I wasn't planning on doing a show today. But there was a game I was watching last night that I kind of want to talk about and give this player some love. That in this NBA community space, you guys know I made my come up talking more basketball. He doesn't get a lot of love. But I don't really watch much regular season NBA during football season, other than my glorious king, of course. But whenever Joel Embiid and Nikola Jokic go head to head, I always got to grab my TV remote, flip on TNT, ESPN, what have you, because it's a classic matchup every single time. I mean, you're talking about, at least in my lifetime, two of the best big men to ever play the game. And last night, I'm glad I turned on that TV because Embiid last night, 41 points, 7 rebounds, 10 assists on Jokic's head top. And take away from last night is that we could be a few months away from saying that Joel Embiid is the best basketball player in the world. Now, is Jokic currently the best? Of course. And even Embiid said himself last night that Jokic is the best. I think Jokic's game translates better in the postseason. Jokic's game has proven so far to translate better in the postseason. But if Embiid goes on a deep run this year, because I mean, that skill set is probably the best ever from a big man. I mean, talking about a dominant 3-level scorer, his 35.1 points per game leads the league. Do you know he's on pace for 3 scoring titles? That is Shaq. He's 5th in the league in rebounds. And an underrated part of his game, he's got 6.1 assists on the year. That's pretty good for someone his size. He's the reigning MVP. And I believe I'll put a lot of good money on this by the end of the season. I'll put a lot of money by the end of the season that he'll have another MVP. I'll put a lot of money on it. And then he'll have the same as Jokic by the end of the season. Again, Jokic is the more proven postseason player. But whenever I flip on TNT and see these guys face off head to head, it's been 8 times since 2016. Jokic absolutely makes barbecue chicken out of Embiid absolutely makes barbecue chicken out of Jokic. When they go head to head, Embiid averages 5 more points, a rebound, and a block. I mean, that's really good. He owns Jokic. He really shows Jokic's lack of defense. Embiid's also a great above average defender. Embiid owned that fourth quarter yesterday. Owned it. I think he had about, when the fourth quarter ended, Embiid came in trailing the 76ers, had about 10 more points, at least, than Jokic. Absolutely exposed him and Aaron Gordon on defense. Now, let's not act like this wasn't a conversation before Jokic cemented himself with a ring. Like this wasn't a real argument. A lot of the talking points that I'm using about the scoring, the rebounding, the above average defense, the MVP, when they were going back and forth 2021, 2022 and getting MVPs, this was a real argument. Who was actually better, Embiid or Jokic? Now, again, Jokic is the more proven postseason player, and I get that. But when you just look at these guys straight up, head to head, take out the narrative, take out the injuries, a bad postseason series for Embiid here and there, and just watch these guys face off head to head. Embiid looks like the better player. I mean, that elbow, I'm watching that game last night. That little elbow area that he likes to use by the free throw line. I mean, he shoots jumpers from there. The rip through, draw foul, put the ball in the deck. He can do anything. I mean, as a scorer, I wasn't old enough to see Shaq. I wasn't old enough. When Shaq was dominating the league, I was getting breastfed. I wasn't old enough to see Shaq. But I think Embiid is the closest thing I have to Shaq. Because, I mean, when he won that scoring title, people don't understand. Centers don't win scoring titles anymore. When he won that scoring title, Embiid, in 2022, that was the first scoring title since Shaq to come from a center. And he will, by the end of the season, because the next person behind Embiid is like Luka, and he averages like 2 or 3 points less, to have 3 straight scoring titles. I mean, his scoring dominance is so insane that he hasn't had I had to look this up myself, a scoring performance below 30 since the middle of November. I believe it's 18 straight. Again, Jokic, best player in the world right now. got a ring, more finals MVP, more proven postseason player. But I think if Joel Embiid can this season, him, Tyrese Maxey, Tobias Harris, Nick Nurse, possibly a trade, they're not going to get Siakam because he just got traded today. But if they can go on a deep run, Embiid looks efficient, looks good, does all the things I just said, and his skill set doesn't drop, then we're going to revisit this conversation. Because when these guys go head to head, Embiid looks like the better player. And I think we're a few months away from resparking this conversation. And I just want to be the first person to say that Joel Embiid by June could possibly be the best player in the world. Well, I want to thank you guys for tuning in to this little quick, random, out of nowhere episode. I don't film on Wednesdays. I don't post really on Wednesdays at all, but I got to start getting used to it because I've been using NFL content, and I know when the NFL goes away, I will have nothing to start getting back in the NBA group. So this is my little test to get back into NBA talking, because when I don't have any NFL, this is what I got to talk about. So I appreciate everyone tuning in. Is Joel Embiid the best player in the world? That's the title of the stream. Well, not right now, but I think he will soon. Until next show, probably have one Friday. Make sure you turn on notifications. Some Casual takes the handle for everything. Follow notifications.